All right, welcome back. We are at class 5. Today I'm going to go over class 5 and class 6. So for class 5, you're going to sketch out your final piece. So please make sure that you have your ideas ready, you're good to go. And if you're not, then let's just jump in. So you are ready to start that final piece, and sometimes just give yourself the confidence. That's might be all you need to do that. Just believe in yourself. So you're going to select your paper size. Again, if you are a fast worker, maybe you pick a bigger size to challenge yourself. If you work slower, pick a smaller size so that your quality doesn't suffer while you're just trying to finish. Remember to draw light until you get it right. I know that sounds so corny, but it'll look so much better if you just have the lines on your paper that you intended to. So just draw it super light. As long as you can see it, it's dark enough. So please keep that in mind. All right, so make sure you draw big and zoom in. Don't put one character small in the middle of your paper. Zoom in, make it big. You don't even have to fit the whole character in if you want to. It can be, if we look up here at some of these, like with this Boondocks one, it could be just that portion. Face, a little bit of shoulders, that's fine. Zooming in tends to look a lot better because we can get more detail than we can when we're trying to draw like a whole figure or lots of figures from farther away. So keep that in mind when you do that. That's going to be really, really helpful. So you're going to do that. Once you get done, I would definitely ask someone at your table, ask your teacher, hey, what do you think? It's going to be really important because sometimes, you're so focused on it, you don't see something. And if someone tells you a mistake that they see, while you could still erase it, that's the time that you want to see that. So make sure you think about that. All right, good luck with class 5. I'm going to jump into class 6. So teachers, you can pause, now and come back to this part of the video for the next class. Oh, right. So this is class 6, and we're starting at 2 minutes and 12 seconds, if that helps you teachers. So we're going to complete the self-evaluation using the rubric and the 2-sentence summary, continuing working on your final piece when you get done with that. So again, you're going to write your self-evaluation in your sketchbook, notebook, whatever you use for art to keep yourself organized. You'll slide that over to the side of your desk whenever you get done, and then continue working on your final piece. If you finished mapping it out last class, then you can definitely jump in with the media. But again, make sure you've asked someone for some advice before you start with the media so that you can make changes if you need to. All right, so your self-evaluation. This is a great opportunity for you to look at your piece and see how you can be a better artist, how you can improve your work before it's too late, right? If we did this after we turned our work in, well, it's too late to make the adjustments. So we're doing this now so that you have time to make adjustments. All right, so in your sketchbook, if you write down rubric, and this is for the transformation piece, you're going to write down what's in bold, not what's in the parentheses here. That was just to help explain it. So the first one, number 1, the degree you can tell who the real person is. Now again, it's still not going to look like a realistic person, but we should be able to tell who it is. Asking someone across the room if they can tell who it is, like if you're doing a celebrity and you go ask someone like, hey, who is this, and they know, awesome. If they don't know, then that's something that you might want to think about making some adjustments so they can recognize them. And give yourself the grade out of 40 right there. If you can't recognize them at all yet, it's okay to have 0 there. It's no big deal. Remember, the project's not due today. All right, number 2, the degree the cartoon style you chose is recognizable. So again, if you chose The Simpsons, we should automatically say, oh yeah, that's The Simpsons. Same with Boondocks. Whatever you chose, just make sure that it's recognizable. And I say asking someone across the room, just because the person sitting next to you or someone at your table, they know what you're doing. So to them, yeah, it's going to be easily recognizable. But to someone that doesn't know what you're doing, those are the people that you want to ask so that you're really sure that it's recognizable. And that's out of 20, so give yourself a grade out of 20. Number 3, the emphasis on the eyes. So again, the eyes, in a portrait, in a picture, whatever it is, we're going to look at the eyes first because it's a person. That's what we do. We're drawn right to the eyes. So we want to make sure they stand out first. So we're drawn to the eyes and then to other things. If you just have your eyes slightly sketched out in pencil or they're not even there yet, then you can give yourself a 0 if they're not there, it's 10 if they're just mapped out because they're not emphasized yet, and that's okay. All right, number 4, the degree of interesting composition. So this we are looking for that's how you arrange it. Remember I talked about zooming in, where it could be, just like the head and shoulders, or it could be part of their, part of it, but not their whole body. You want to think about that because it's going to be easier to create details. And then if you want to draw the whole person, I gave an example down here. One time I drew Mr. Butler as a Simpsons character. I drew him as the principal from The Simpsons. And Mr. Butler always jokes about how he loves to talk. So what I decided to do was draw him as standing at a podium and then a little bit of an audience. So that was how I kind of made the composition a little bit more interesting than just him standing there, just to kind of add a little bit of humor to it. So think about your composition, where you're going to place it on your paper. Smack dab in the center, remember, it's not the best place. Think about the rule of thirds that you learned about during the last project. It's going to be really important when you're thinking about where to place your cartoon character. All right, number 5, the piece is uploaded with an image of the real person. So I created a video to show you how to do this, and I'll kind of go through that once we get to that step. But right now, you should be at a 0 out of 10 there because you haven't done that yet, and that's fine because your piece has to be done to be able to do that. So give yourselves a grade out of 100. So tally up all of those scores you just gave yourself. And you can pause, teachers, if you need to. And you give yourself a grade out of 100. So what we want to do here is ask the class. And this is something fun I always like to do because, again, it's not due today. But raise your hand if you are in the 60 range. You're in the 60 range. Okay, good, good. Raise your hand if you're in the 70 range. 70 range. Awesome. How about the 80 range? Anyone? Okay, 90 range. Anyone at 100? All right. Awesome. All right, so now let's do our summary. So you're going to complete these 2 sentences. Right now I give myself a blank %. Let's say you had a 0 here and your composition needs work, but everything else was looking really good. So let's say you gave yourself an 80 because you gave yourself a 0 here and here. So I could say right now I give myself an 80 because my composition still needs something else to look better, right? Notice I used evidence right from the rubric as to why I wasn't at 100 yet. The second sentence, I can improve the quality of my piece by. That would be talking then about what are you going to add to your composition? Like, don't just say, I can improve the quality of my piece by improving my composition. Well, obviously, but how are you going to do that? What else are you going to add? Are you going to move something, change something? What are you going to do to make it more interesting? Awesome. Remember, when you get done with this, make sure that you slide it over to the edge of your desk. Your teacher can come around and check those. And while you're waiting, so that you don't have to wait, start working on your piece, adding your media, and you're going to do an awesome job. I'm sure of it. All right, good luck.